Hello, welcome to Dr. G at the Heart of Healthcare. We are gearing up and going on into season two. And I have a friend here, Jamie Laberman, who is an RN and certified hospice and palliative care nurse in Fort Myers, Florida. And she has a wonderful business, Hospice Buddy, where she's helping people at the end of life. And so we're just going to talk about that and her amazing life being a mother of six and working full time and entrepreneur. Is just so wonderful. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh my gosh. So well, first, let's start from the beginning because what kind of person has this much energy? Where'd you grow up?
I actually grew up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. As far as the energy goes, I think it might have something to do with ADHD. I don't know. I don't sit still well, so I always have to do something. So if I'm not working, I'm homeschooling the kids or I'm working on my business.
Amazing. It's amazing work. And I love how you're so transparent about your life and your faith. And, you're a real person that people can relate to during this challenging time for many families. So tell us a little bit about your background and how you became a nurse, how long you've been a nurse, and all that.
So I started out when I got out of high school. I was a resident assistant at an assisted living for dementia. It was like a lockdown unit. And I found that I really liked it. I moved around a little bit. I was there for a few years. I tried to go to the nursing home side. I did not like it. I think I lasted about 3 months, not for me. But I did like the act of caregiving and doing that kind of stuff. And so I had gotten a job at an inpatient hospice unit. I had no idea what I was in for. I really just needed a job, and I knew I didn't like where I was. And so I was actually there for about 2 years. And that seeing how the nurses and the staff in hospice, they work together so well. It's such a cohesive team, all for
Hmm.
the purpose of making someone comfortable. So
Yes.
that aspect of it, that whole, it's a little bit more personal than in a hospital setting, or, one of those kind of outpatient things. Like you really do get to make a connection with people with hospice and with their families and with your coworkers, and you just all become kind of like a family. So that aspect of it really interested me, and I decided to go get my LPN license. Um, Once I did that, I did move around because I knew I needed experience. So I wanted to learn a couple different things. I did try the nursing home again. Not my thing, whether it was a nurse or a nursing assistant. I didn't like it. Um, and then I found myself back in hospice. So I did hospice part-time for quite a while. I did continuous care. So I would sit at bedside with people for 12-hour shifts. Um, I did that for a few years and worked in the inpatient centers. And that was on the weekends. During the week, I was working at either inpatient oncology or outpatient oncology as like my full-time job. So I was a certified oncology nurse, and I have experience with like bone marrow transplants and all of the cancers and chemos and blood. And I really did like that. I did that for about 8 years, and that connection again is really similar to hospice because you're helping somebody, you build that relationship, you see them all the time to do their treatments. So I did that during the week, hospice on the weekends, and now I'm just in hospice. And I started my own hospice coaching business so I can help people in a way that makes me feel good, that I think is beneficial to them.
Oh my gosh. Well done. I'm so just proud of your work. I mean, I know you don't really know me, but just being your co-team member, knowing all that you're doing in your journey with your family, it's just fantastic. And it's amazing how you found that you wanted a certain environment that you took care of people. And that's how it is in healthcare, right? Like not
Yeah.
everyone becomes a surgeon, not everyone becomes, a pediatrician. You have to find your thing. And I'm so glad you're in hospice. So wow, being a continuous care nurse, that is, I mean, I'm not going to obviously equate it to a non-medical profession, but it's like end of life doulas and death doulas. Like you are literally there the whole time. And let me remind the audience, For hospice care, there are 4 levels of hospice care. GIP, general inpatient, that's when someone is in a hospital or a skilled nursing facility, like they need really intense care and they're in a crisis, it can't be managed at home. And so that's that. Then you have respite. That's when the caregiver can get a break and the loved one can go to a place, an inpatient place, for up to 5 days every benefit period. And you can look up those rules. Every hospice agency has different relationships with facilities where they can help. Then there's continuous care, what Jamie's talking about. And then there's routine home care. That's the typical one where everyone is on at home. And so tell us the journey of how you decided to bring your business about and what your mission is in Hospice Buddy.
Yeah. Well, I think throughout this whole career of hospice, it has exposed me to a lot of things I couldn't explain, um, people reaching and grabbing. And I did not grow up in a religious household. It was kind of taboo. We didn't talk about it. Politics and religion, you don't talk about. And,
Mm-hmm.
and then everybody gets along. So I, I didn't really have much experience in that sort of realm. And so through hospice, I started experiencing things, and I was always curious more about the spirituality, but didn't quite know which way I wanted to go with it or what I believed in. So that all it's just been like a learning experience, and it has strengthened my faith a lot. Um, and I always wanted to find out, what happens when you die? Is it we're dust and nothing? That's it. You're just game over, or is there something more? And I think throughout my hospice career, I've really learned that there is something more. Definitely, without a doubt, is something more. So my problem though with hospice is, even though they provide great care, I love it. I've been doing it for 18 years now, close to, and but we are pressured from the powers that be to work faster, work harder. We have staffing issues, not just in hospice, but around the whole country with nursing, and it's sad. And you start to miss that connection piece because you need to move on. You take that call, you need to move on. You do that visit and you try to get through it quickly, and you need to move on because you have to, you know, we're just pressured. And so that I felt, if I could create a business where I was able to help clients in a different way, I know that when they call me, they're scared. They don't understand something. Maybe their nurse told them about end of life symptoms, but it just went out the other ear because they're overwhelmed and they don't take it in, or it just didn't process. So there's always a lot of questions, the same questions over and over again, and they're scared and they're tired. And that when you are a caregiver, your friends and family, rather than coming around to support you, they scatter, and you have like 1 or 2 people that might support you, but some people don't have anybody. So my purpose was to be that support system for somebody. um, I had a client, and she's in her 30s. Her mother was on hospice. Her dad had already passed, and she is trying to handle all of this and does have some friends, but again, everybody's scattered. And so I was able to build that relationship with her, talk with her every day, and kind of uplift her and bring some light into the situation, because I think that's really important too, is, having faith. Yes, this situation is not ideal, but we'll get through it. It does not mean you're being punished. Doesn't mean there's not a God, but we all need to go through this. And it's that connection and that support and trying to help those people through that time the best way that I know how, and the way that made me feel good, and the way that I feel I was led to.
I love it. I love it. And people need that. And I'm just, again, being a part of our community is so rewarding because, we're online encouraging one another, and we've all attempted to come up with some type of solution to all the problems we're having with the hospice. Hospice Action Week is going to be coming up in June, and I'm going to be supporting it. And I hope that I can take some of these challenges to our leaders so that we can make hospice care better. We have one of our previous presidents on hospice care. And so that's a perfect opportunity for everyone to be exposed and educated to what it is. And, I just hope that they can listen to us and know that we need to make some changes so that it's better for more people and so that the staff is not burned out and stressed like we are. We're doing the best we can, but we need to make some changes. If there's anything that you could say to the legislators about the nursing crisis and staff crisis, what would it be?
I think our staffing ratios need to change. And, I understand that Medicare and insurance companies and the government, they have regulations that we need to meet, which I think, is appropriate because we don't want to sign somebody up too early or, not follow certain rules. However, the pressure of move faster, work harder, here's some more tasks for you, and we can't provide the quality of care that we want to. So I would love to see staffing changes throughout it. And of course that might mean more nurses, but just to
Yeah,
help, so important.
yeah, I wonder how we can attract more to our field, because, when I'm out and about, with my book or something, people see the word hospice and they're immediately scared. You know how it is, you're part of the work too. What do you think we can do to change that? Because, you and I know how wonderful it is to have the flexibility of our jobs, to drive to the home, to be able to communicate and not be limited to things that we are like in a hospital or a clinic. Like we can do more when we see people at home. But how do you think we can attract more nurses? Because I know we lost a ton after the pandemic, and everyone seems to be wanting to do travel nursing these days. So what can we do to attract young ones?
I think what we're already doing, you and I and hospice nurse Julie and all these people who are trying to spread the word, they are gaining the attention of people who have not been involved in hospice because I think, we have tunnel vision when it comes to hospice. You don't even want to think about it until you are forced to. So I think just spreading that awareness to people who haven't had those experiences, but they might come across your video or, they might be drawn in somehow. And there might be people who really that speaks to, and they would love to provide that level of care. And I know hospice nurse Gabby, she does like those, like the doula courses and helps
Yeah.
train people how to do that stuff. And I think that's a good first step is if something like that interests you, that maybe that's something that you could look into, or even being a CNA. And then as you learn that you love it, you just keep moving up and get your nursing license. But or people coming in from different fields, maybe they're sick of the hustle and bustle in the ER. We have a lot of nurses that come from critical care and ER who just want to tone it back a little bit, focus on comfort, and what's
Mhm.
most important at end of life.
Yeah, I'm going to put a link to some of those friends' social media here. Hospice nurse Julie, she is taking off, total celebrity now. I know she released a book, and then you mentioned Gabby, and she has all her wonderful books and the doula course. And then we have people in leadership who are doing things around hospice nurse Shelley down in Louisiana. She's going and presenting, the survey, Your Voice Matters survey to the leaders so that we can really make some changes for everyone. And so I know I'm missing a bunch of other folks, but you know who you are. And we just want to all work together to make everything better. So I'm so glad that, we have you out here to coach folks. And I'm so glad that I get to work alongside you. So do you have any yeah. Do you have any closing words for our audience? And I'll put a link to your website in the show notes too.
On my website, you can find, I have a bunch of blogs that I wrote that are easy to understand for patients and families. So when they are experiencing a symptom or looking into hospice, not sure, they can find a lot of information there. And I also made a store aimed at caregivers of things that throughout my 18-year career, products and things that I would use in somebody's home that are really helpful, as far as medication dispensing or personal cares. So even, it just gives you an idea of the things that are available, because some things you probably wouldn't even think that maybe would be helpful, and it does make a huge difference. So between the blogs and the store, and then also my services, I would love to be that support person for whoever needs it.
Thank you. Thank you for all you do, Jamie, Nurse Jamie. And so we had a wonderful time getting to know you. Thank you for everything you do, Superwoman. And we're going to keep encouraging one another so we can lift up the hospice industry. So thank you for being on Dr. G at the Heart of Healthcare. And we're going to sign out. Peace.
Thank you.